came a long way, that's what the song say. And I could do all things, I could do all things. Yeah, I could do all things, yeah. I'm not afraid of the moment, I'm not afraid I can't hold it. I gotta show 'em, gotta get up in the morning. I gotta do it for Kobe, lately I'm zoning. Lately I know where I'm going, taking whatever controllers. Show me opponents, show me opponents. I got a gift and I'm starting to own it.
But yeah, man, so we just keep talking, fuck it.
Okay.
Just do it, yeah. What's been up with you, bro? How you been?
Man, everything been good, man.
Yeah, that's good, man. I'm glad to hear that. What's new with you?
Shit, everything.
Give us some
Man.
Give us some insight.
Music, radio, Trap Kitchen, Trap Private Reserve, see, just all of it, man. Cool Nutz Maniac new album coming, you know what I mean? So just so many things like that we have in motion.
How does the Trap Private Reserve work? Like, are you guys growing it yourself, or what's going on there?
We started out more so in that position, but just that part of it is such a headache, man.
Yeah.
In terms of maintaining the quality that we partner with, with a couple growers, really one now, and it just makes it more streamlined. So we curate the strains we want to do, the flavors we want to drop, and the marketing, packaging, and everything like that. So it just makes it way more easier.
That's cool, bro. What's up with the new album?
Man, the crazy thing is this is the first time me and Maniac did a real album together. We've been working on a number of projects, and sometimes some stuff ends up falling apart, not because of us, but because of other stuff. So then we got the Red and Meth album, which is me and him, because I feel like we bring the same type of energy of Red Man and Method Man. So we got that with we got a few special guests on there, and really excited about it. So November 9th or something like that.
That's when you guys are dropping?
Yeah.
How long you been rapping with Maniac Loc?
Man, since the 90s.
Is that like who you started with, basically?
No, I started with Bosco. So me and Bosco started everything, you know what I mean? And then who I really started with first was Ray from Gism. We were going to PCC together, and he wasn't really rapping at the time. Well, he started rapping, and then we were a little bit more further along than him. And so then once we kind of got tighter, and he kind of saw what I was doing, and then I saw that he also was dope at what he was doing. We started pushing that. Then Young Rand came in the picture, which is Gism. And then after that was Kenny Mac and Monkey Mike, and then Maniac came kind of after that. But we all grew up around each other. So Maniac was always around. It was just that he was kind of always doing his own thing with Tay the Mayor.
Right.
So it's all family, because we all grew up and knew each other from the beginning. But it was just like different business ventures. But eventually it all just came together. You know what I mean?
What year did you start rapping?
Shit, really started rapping in 80, probably 88.
Damn.
When I got serious.
Some like raw camera.
Yeah. Well, because I had like I said, Bosco and them was already rapping. He's just a little bit older than me. So they were already rapping. I was like the little bro. Mm-hmm. And I was watching them do shit. So as I'm watching them do shit, I'm like over there doing, and they kind of was like, oh yeah, whatever. But then as things progress, they got older, started doing different shit. So then it just really just left me and Bosco. So then when it left me and Bosco, then I got serious about everything and kind of became the main artist, and he was the producer. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh. So what was it like getting into music back then?
You didn't have no real blueprint. So it was like, and another thing is it was a passion thing too.
Right.
Because it was, it was hip hop. So it was, of course, it was like we was young break dancing first, then that phased out, then we got into rapping. So then when we start rapping, it was like there was really no real examples of like this how you do it. It was just like we just rapping and recording, and then he had like I think a 4-track at the time. So we was recording songs, putting them on tapes, and then he was like, man, if we're gonna get serious about it or we're gonna keep playing, and we decided we gotta get serious. but it was just a lot more challenging because you didn't have studios. You didn't have, like right now, you know, you can go buy a computer and record in your bedroom and have some stuff that sound like real, you know, real studios.
Right.
Yeah, so of course it was just harder, but it was a lot more genuine though, because you had to really work hard to do it. You know, you had to really invest in it. You had to put money behind your, you know, behind your movement.
How long did it take from you starting to rap to actually like really take it serious and be like, this is what I'm gonna do from here on out?
That basically happened on its own because we, like I said, we had the conversation where he was like, man, it's either a hobby or we're gonna do it for real. Right. So basically, once we put the records out and the records start selling and people start accepting it and pushing it and looking at me like a real rapper, then it was like, oh, okay. It's like if you go play ball, like you get on the court and you go come down the middle and pipe on somebody, everybody's like, oh, okay, he's not playing. So it was essentially like that. You come in, you drop them records and people start, you know, fucking with it. And it was like a natural evolution of like, okay, the tapes is selling, people calling for shows. Now somebody in Medford want me to come do a show. Somebody in Bend want me to come do a show. Seattle, you know, or even going to, like, one of the biggest moments was going to Seattle. The first time going to Seattle with some tapes and going to the record store. It was ARS Records, or no, a little record mart in the hood in Seattle. And I go to drop the tapes off. I'm like, he's like, the dude that owned the store is in there. He's like, man, where you from? I'm like, we from Portland. He's like, that shit ain't gonna sell up here. I said, look, bro, I'll give you these tapes. I gave him 10 tapes. It was either 5 or 10 tapes. I gave him 5 or 10 tapes. And I said, look, I'll give them to you. You just put them in here playing, whatever. If people don't fuck with it, you ain't even got to worry about it. If they do, just call me back. He called me a week later. It was like, man, I sold out all the tapes. I was wrong. And then that's when I knew, like, okay, not only is Portland up on it, Seattle's up on it. And then that just got the ball rolling. You feel me? Like when I knew, like, okay, the people decide, like, what's dope. You know what I mean?
When did it really start, like, progressing? Like when did you go on your first tour? What was your first big break? You know what I mean? Like to where it took you to a whole, like, national level or something, you know?
I think the first big break was when I put out Harsh Game for the People, because before that I had a record deal with Atlantic. So I got a record deal with Atlantic. Bosco had a record deal with Atlantic, and then we had put out a couple of tapes before that, but that was really strictly kind of local, like Portland, some Seattle, some couple other spots. Bosco got the record deal with Atlantic, and then we start shopping my stuff. And when they start shopping my stuff, I had deals on the table from Def Jam, Tommy Boy, and Atlantic. But because he was already at Atlantic, I decided to go with Atlantic. But then that record deal, it didn't work out because we were behind like Junior Mafia. We were behind, I think, Junior Mafia, Lil' Kim, all of that. And then we didn't have, of course, we not coming in under Notorious B.I.G., so we just don't have the leverage, you know what I mean, to really get what we want out the situation. And so fortunately, I had a release clause in my contract where I got out my contract. When I got out the contract, I literally took all the music and then I put out Harsh Game. And when I put out Harsh Game, that's when the real ball started rolling, you know what I'm saying?
And you put out Harsh Game on, like, independent?
That was all us. Yeah, that was all us.
Which was like, it was just family around at that time?
Yep, just family. So that was, Harsh Game was all just when I talk about, man, when, like, people don't realize when I talk about really hustling and really putting money into yourself and really, like, that shit's real. Like, it ain't no, you know what I mean? Ain't no fiction or no lies to that. That's really, like, when you talk about really from the sack to the track, like stacking your own money, hustling, grinding, believing in yourself and putting it into yourself and really investing in yourself. That's what Harsh Game was. Harsh Game was the results of all of that. You know what I mean? And me and Bosco, and then really Portland believing in the shit. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, that was something that took a life of its own, honestly.
How big was like the Portland hip hop community at that time? Was it like it is now, or was it like really just not very saturated at all?
It's definitely not as big as it is now because you got. I mean, you could wake up tomorrow and there's 20 artists, young dudes with videos and stuff on iTunes and everything. Like back then, you had artists, but it's not in terms of releasing music. It's a whole different journey because you literally just to get something off the ground, you're gonna have to spend some thousands of dollars. You know, to press up your CDs, posters, to even get in the studio, record, artwork, everything. So you only had a few artists. I mean, you had artists, but in terms of like really, really doing something, you only had a couple people, you know what I'm saying? So it wasn't, you just didn't have the access either. Like everybody couldn't promote themselves. Like how you got social media and, you know, you can get on Instagram and Facebook and SoundCloud and all that and spread your music. Like you didn't have that access.
So you were from Portland?
Born and raised, yo.
Okay. So what was it like growing up in Portland?
I feel like, man, somebody asked me this question like last week or something, and I feel like, and first and foremost, if I say growing up like black in Portland,
There you go.
was an incredible experience because we had a sense of community that we don't have now. You know what I mean? Like Northeast Portland, North Portland, where growing up in an environment where there, like I said, when everybody was around everybody. So like when I talk about the music of like Maniac and all these other people, like we all grew up around each other. We all knew each other. So when you talk about riding up the K and, you know, Killingsworth, Prescott, Alberta, all of that, like that was Northeast Portland. So the sense of love, the sense of belonging was there, and something that people don't get nowadays. You know, like even my kids, I wish my kids could experience that. So growing up in Portland for me was dope. Everything from Peninsula Park to Salvation Army to Matt Dishman, you know, the Boys and Girls Club in North Portland, like really being amongst your people. And I think that's the difference too, is having to earn your stripes back then in terms of even with the music. Like you had to earn it. You had to really be out in the field. You couldn't just be talking, I'm just a rapper. Like you're gonna have to be in the club amongst the people, really, you know, really functioning amongst the people. So for me growing up in Portland, it was a dope experience that I wouldn't change it for nothing.
Did you start rapping a little bit later in life, or how old did you say you were when you started rapping?
I started rapping in high school.
Okay, so what were you doing before rap?
We was, man, going to school and doing all the regular shit that you do. Like, you know what I mean? Like before that, it was almost like we just growing up, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you got all the like hustling and stuff like that. So it's just the shit we was doing in Northeast Portland.
Was it a big community back then, or was it pretty like sealed off and not like a lot?
No, I think you mean in terms of like the overall community or the music community.
The overall community of
No,
North Portland back then.
I think it was a big community because, you know, like I said, everything, man, from like I said, like going to church and summer camp, everything like was all inclusive of North and Northeast Portland. You know, like going out to the numbers, like that was like going to the country, like, you know what I mean? Like, or going to Vancouver. Like the only thing we had to go to Vancouver for is that some of my cousins had moved up, like the Jeffersons, and moved to Vancouver. So it was like going to, you know, like, oh, we going to go visit our rich cousins over in Vancouver. They stay up on a hill.
Right, they just had a 2-story house.
Yeah. No, they had the 3-story with the family room downstairs and you know what I mean? So it was like, you had a real sense of community back then. Irving Park, everything, like, you know, the basketball tournaments, everything. It was, you know, it was so much, and even just the experience in high school, like Jeff, Grant, Benson, you know, all of that, like just those rivalries. And
what high school did you go to?
I went to Grant.
What was like your funnest thing? Like, what was your favorite thing to do back then being a kid?
I mean, man, the thing is like, I think this, and this is one of the things I feel like I wish my kids would get to experience is like the long-standing friendships of like growing up with your friends from the time you was in first grade to all the way through high school, even through high school, to the point where every day you getting up, whether it's catching the bus to school or going to the basketball games, going to the football games, just that sense of camaraderie, you know what I mean? A sense of family. Yeah, I feel like my kids they don't get that because the neighborhoods are different to where if we got up and went outside the house, your best friend stayed across the street. Your other friend was on the corner. Your one friend was next door.
Yeah.
And so you get up, you walk out the house. It's like the movies. Like, oh man, we going to the bus stop. Let's go into the mall.
Let's sit on this green generator.
Come on, man. Yeah, exactly. So it's like, or just even sitting out front of the house till midnight or whatever, and everybody just running up and down the street. So it was just a different time, man, in terms, it wasn't no like just this one thing. It was like everything you was doing, like just, even if rap records came out, getting out of school and catching the bus to Second Avenue Records to get the new Snoop Dogg, like that was an experience in and of itself. Like that's the type of stuff, excitement we don't get nowadays, you know?
Why? What changed? Why do you think it's not like that no more?
I mean, I think because of gentrification, I think of, people getting outpriced of their neighborhoods, families not being able to afford to sustain staying in a certain neighborhood. And so everything gets spread out. So now you never had black families going to school at, Gresham and David Douglas and stuff like that. Now it's everybody's everywhere. So like your kids' friends, one minute they might stay closer, then the next minute they're staying on the whole other side of town.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. Yeah, because I remember being a kid and just like being able to just like meet up at like one place and everybody would be there. You're gonna see like one person, and then eventually you're gonna be with like a whole group of people.
Yeah,
it's crazy. There was a lot more like neighborhood bonds and stuff. Like you'd just be running up and down the street all day. And now it's like it doesn't even seem. I don't even see kids outside ever.
Nah, man. I remember going school shopping. Going school shopping at Lloyd Center used to be like going to the club. You know what I'm saying? Like we going school shopping. You get dressed up to go school shopping just to go buy more clothes because Lloyd Center is going to be popping, or going to, things like me and Fat Boy was talking about, like going to watch Friday at the theater in Lloyd Center. Like that was. You don't get that no more, where you got the actual community, the people that they made that movie for, all in that theater, seeing that menace to society.
You don't ever see like lines to go see movies no more.
No.
I just wonder why it's not like that. Like it seems like the movie people had to make way more money back then than they do now. So it's like, how do they keep even putting out these movies if nobody even goes to the movie theaters to watch them on like grand opening and stuff like that?
Because they can make the money off them streaming it now. Wait till it come out. I mean, you got to think, a new movie come out a month later. You go see Jurassic World. It's on you go to your on demand. It's out already a month later. So.
Or it's actually even out at the same time.
Yeah,
like you don't even need to go to a movie theater no more.
So and that's the thing, the excitement ain't there. Like, the excitement's not there even for the music. Like
you'd have to wait 2 months for a movie to come out.
Come on, man.
Yeah, and then you'd have to wait 3 years for an album. You know what I mean? It's like, what the fuck happened? I just wonder what the thought process of that. And that's also another thing about music, is that it made it more exclusive.
Yeah.
Now fucking everybody makes music, dude. So it's like, it's not as cool as it used to be. Now it's just like, oh God, another one.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
It's like, Jesus Christ, they just don't stop. It's like, make me miss you a little bit. You know?
Yeah.
So what was your first tour?
My first tour was with 3 Times Crazy.
That's what Keek the Sneak,
right? Adrian and Bart. When they had got their record deal on, they had got their record deal. No, it was like, I think, Loud? Not Loud. It was,
I just read
they might have been on Relativity or something like
right.
that. And I was already cool with a lot of cats from the Bay, and they needed artists to help promote the tour, because I think they came through Portland. We did Portland, Seattle, and somewhere else. And that was like really my first time going going on and doing some shows with somebody else that was, you know, outside of Portland. And so that was dope, and just being able to like build with Keegan and them, and because a lot of the dudes from the Bay are already like super, you know, super connected with them.
You said a lot of the dudes from the Bay are super connected with.
We were, well, basically, we were super connected.
Yeah, it seems like Portland's like a cousin of the Bay or something.
Exactly.
Or like maybe like a brother, and then Seattle's like a sister or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's crazy. Yeah, because the Bay influences a lot of Portland. Like even with the way people talk to this day, I'm just like, oh God, like they're still saying mine and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's like they got some like Bay pimping or something.
But I think the Bay, because the Bay lifestyle is a lot more similar to Portland. You know what I mean? Like
even the weather.
Yeah, and just even being out in cars, old schools, slapping music. You know, it's not L.A., you know, and it's not Seattle, but Seattle is also like in between too. So that's why I think we both adopted like that lifestyle, or that, you know, connecting to that sound or connecting to the artist.
Did you ever have a Cougar on Dayton's or anything?
No, I had a Monty on
What
Dayton's.
year?
76.
Okay.
And then I had a 70 Monty, and I had an 86 Regal. What else?
Because on one of your album covers, wasn't it that you had like some car on there too? I can't remember.
Yeah,
right?
the Monty is on the back.
Oh, that was what it was.
Man, I told you that's mine. That was mine.
That's cool. That's funny as fuck. So after that tour, what went on after that?
After that, we started doing our own tours, like our own shows. Cause then like once Harsh Game kind of took off, then I started getting calls for my own shows. So like Spokane, Tri-Cities, Yakima, Bellingham, Eugene, Bend, Northern California, and all of those places. So like then from those situations, then it became a thing where it was my own music that was driving what we were doing.
And how much were you charging for shows back then?
Shoot, anywhere from like, I would have to say like anything from like 500 to, you know, like 1,500, 2,000, yeah.
That's pretty cool back in the day too. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
And were you being booked quite a bit?
Oh yeah. We stayed on the road. You know what I'm saying? So because it was one of them things where like, you know, when it's moving, it's like you getting them calls. So it's just like the record's out, it's hot, it's selling. You know, like we was really selling records in Ashland, Oregon. So when the college is calling you, like, yo, the students want you to come rock, you know, or even Medford, like, we got such and such coming, we want to put you on the show, or Eugene, we want you to headline your own show. Tri-Cities, you know, we want you to come do your thing, Yakima, so.
And this is all, this is back in the 90s still that we're talking about?
Like 90, like around 94, 95 on. Yeah.
What year did the Harsh Game come out?
That was 93 or 4, I think, or might have been 95.
So when you were like when you were getting signed to Atlantic and stuff like that, did you guys have to go to LA in order to like kind of like promote yourself and put yourself in front of like a music exec, or like how did that record deal come about? You know what I mean? That
came from because Bosco went to USC, so he got a scholarship to go to USC. So he went to USC. So when he got to USC in LA, he just started tapping into the music scene. So when he started tapping into the music scene down there, he tapped into more like the major label stuff. So I was still up here. So basically, he's doing the major label stuff, but while I'm up here doing the independent stuff. So it's kind of bringing both worlds together. So then as he's doing the labels or doing the major label stuff, then he's rapping and he gets a deal. It's easy for him to like say, okay, now it's time for us to shop your stuff, listen to this. And then they can go look and see like, oh, he's buzzing up there too. You know what I mean? So it was more or less then I started going to LA. And when I started going to LA, start tapping in and also start kind of building more of a name for myself in the industry and around those people as well.
Did you ever run into anybody like Tupac or anybody like that?
That's like one of the few people that I never ran into. Like you know, Tupac is one of them things where you had to kind of be in certain places, like to even. I done been around some everybody else, from of course Snoop, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre, all of them. But in terms of like Tupac, that's you had to really be in certain places and circles to kind of get in that mix.
Really? Because he's from the Bay and he was in LA, so that's crazy.
But you got to think, man, at the time, Pac is like Pac. You feel me? Like,
he was even Pac back then.
Yeah, but because you got to think, like, Pac came out, then he did those first albums, and then he went to jail. Then Death Row Pac.
Yeah.
So then, people was kind of was aware of Pac before Death Row Pac, but then Death Row Pac was a whole different, you know what I mean? That's like you got to think during Death Row era, like coming in contact with Snoop and Dre. Like, you know what I mean? Like.
But you were down in LA at those times, right?
I was in LA at those times, but just being able to like be in certain places around them dudes, that's like a whole different level. You feel me?
Right,
like,
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
just wasn't to that level yet.
Yeah, but just you could even be at that level, but just
colliding with them and stuff.
Yeah, you gotta either be in there with them or know somebody, or you know what I mean. And we knew people, but at the same time, like you could know certain people that's right there, but then you fucking with them, but then bringing you in over there is like, okay, well, what am I gonna bring you over here for? Or what is the motivation? You feel me? So It's like you just had to really kind of like be around that shit to kind of meet, or even interact with. When you talking about Pac, like that's like meeting MJ or something. You feel me? Like,
you ever meet MJ?
I met MJ.
What was he like? Is he as bad as everybody acts like?
He was. I mean, the funny thing was, man, he was very selective on taking the pictures. Like the person in front of me, they was like they tried to take a picture. He was, oh no, I'm cool. And then I was like, yeah, man, I really something. Can I get a picture? He's like, come on. So it's like it was pick and choose. You know what I'm saying?
Why?
I don't know. I mean,
just to have that type of power.
When you
like,
MJ, when you MJ, you pick and choose.
Right. I pick and choose right now, and I'm not MJ. I'm not taking pictures with nobody.
Yeah, when you MJ, you pick and choose. Nobody better not say shit.
Yeah. Where were you at when you met him?
We went to a Brand Jordan party at Departure at the Nines.
Oh shit, he was at the Nines?
Yep.
He was at a low budget place like that?
Man, when Nike's doing it. But big shout out to OG1, because OG1 was DJing and he hit me. He was like, man, you want to come to this party? And I'm like, what party? He's like, man, we got this Brand Jordan. And I'm thinking it's just a Brand Jordan party. Mm-hmm. So then I'm at the bar. I'm standing at the bar and I get my drink and I turn around and right behind me is that man. So I was like,
what were you drinking?
Man, it might have been like Grey Goose and cranberry or something like that.
I bet you got some vodka and cranberry too.
But that man was right there. I was like, oh, okay.
He was getting some brandy or something.
Man, he was just standing there being MJ.
That's funny as fuck. That's crazy. Who was that like the number one person that you always wanted to meet or what?
I would say, of course, him and then Dr. Dre.
You were in like a studio session with Dr. Dre, weren't you?
Yeah.
What was that?
That was the thing is, man, it's like literally when I got my first real studio, I would just listen to Dr. Dre's mixes to try to base my mixes off of his, right?
Mixes like you were making shit?
Yeah. So like when we were making the first albums, like I would just listen to his stuff. So like I was on tour with Slum Village, and so when we were getting to LA, and this might have been probably the most like I would say the most dopest rap day of my life. Like when I can say like this day was just crazy. You know what I mean?
Was this back then that this story was taking place, or was this?
No, this is like 2000. This is maybe like, what are we, 22? This might have been either like 15 or 16.
Oh, okay. So somewhat recent. Okay,
Yeah.
Go back to the story. Yeah.
So as we're getting closer to LA, they keep saying like, oh, we might go to the studio with Dre. And I'm like,
That's what Slum Village said?
yeah, that's what they kept saying. Well, yeah, we've been in there with him before. We might go again.
I was like, Slum Village in 2015 getting in the studio with Dre, huh?
But you got to think like that whole Dilla Slum Village sound.
Yeah.
Everybody loved it. And so as we get there, we had a show in Pomona the night before, and then we went and did Hip Hop DX. We went and did Hip Hop DX. Then we went to 40's video shoot, I think, for Choices. And then after 40's video shoot, then we went and did the show. And when we did the show, show was packed crazy. And then after the show, they was like, all right, we probably gonna go by Dre's. So then we leave the studio at like, had to been like, maybe like midnight or something. And we go to the studio, we come in the studio and we just sitting there chilling in the lounge, and they went in the studio. So I'm like, all right, we just chilling out here. And then probably like an hour later, Dre just walk out. You know what I'm saying? And he's, oh, what's up, y'all? Something. And so then I was also with Pete Rock, because the tour was Slum Village and Pete Rock. So then Pete Rock come out and he's like, Cool Nutz, why you sitting out here? And I'm like, bro, I'm not just walking in Dr. Dre's studio session.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I was like, he was like, no, son, you with me, son, come on. So we went in there and man, he's in there working. And so it's like, literally we got to spend the whole night in there watching him work. You know what I'm saying? Which was crazy, because it's just like, you think about those records, you think about who he is, and being able to be in there, like, how we in the same space and watch him do that shit. You know what I'm saying? And like literally, he makes you record, like if this is the mixing board, he makes you record right here. So your mic is set up at the mixing board. So if you ever go look at pictures,
he don't go in the booth.
No, he don't. Like if you rapping, he made T3, is either T3 or one of them rap like right next to me. Like, so if we sitting here like this, it's a mic right here, and you rapping, and he's telling you, no, say it this way.
Why does he do that?
That's how them records turn out like that. That's how I figured. That night was when I seen how them records, why, like when you talk about them Snoop Dogg records and you talk about all of them, Eminem, all of the level of them records, I saw that night why they turn out like that.
So you're telling me that like when Eminem was making his first breakthrough shit, he was just sitting right next to Dr. Dre talking, rapping all that shit right next to him, 1 foot away from him?
Now, I don't know if he had Eminem do that, but I mean, at that time he might have though, because again, Eminem was just starting out. So, but you see the level of production, like you see how in tune and in depth he is with what he's doing, like that, like. Not many people when you're in the studio are working like that. You know what I mean? Like I saw that night, like I was like, okay, this is people working at a different level. Like at 3 a.m, you call, we need a bass player, and a bass player gonna show up. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I mean,
of
course, who wouldn't want to?
But I'm just saying, like, but just you know what I'm saying?
Did any of the recordings from that night ever get released?
I'm trying to think. I don't think he put any of that stuff out. And that's another thing that they said even before we got there. They were like, literally, he could play you records with anybody. Like he got records with anybody you can probably name, he got records.
Wow.
Yeah, so like literally, you talking about a man that's just in there recording, that can record and call anybody. Hey, I need you on a record, and they gonna come do it. And a lot of the stuff don't even come out probably.
And he wasn't like a dickhead or anything like that. He was pretty cool.
Nah, he was super cool. Like super cool. Like never, you know what I mean? Like I said, like even when I went in the studio, I stay in it. Cause my thing is like, if I'm very conscious of people's space. Like especially if it's like recording or creative shit. I don't just, you could be doing something and somebody come in, they talking too motherfucking much and all that. Like I'm just chilling. Like I'm happy to be here. Like
right.
I'm just I feel like
Almost like a student.
yeah, I'm
just
blessed to
watching.
be here. Like I feel like with all the shit I do, that is a blessing. That's a blessing of all the stuff I've done to where I'm in this room with Slum Village, Pete Rock, Dr. Dre. You know what I'm saying? I think Exhibit came through, Marsha Ambrosius, Bishop Lamont. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like I'm playing my position, man. I'm not coming there, man. Listen to me rap. Like, nah.
Right. You're not just in his ear rapping.
No, because you probably gonna get kicked the fuck out. You know what I
Right.
mean?
You just get the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly. But he was cool though. Like I was, you felt comfortable.
That's cool. So how did Just Family Records start? And is that still? Are you guys still doing that same?
Yeah,
Still doing it?
I mean, Just Family is essentially me and Bosco, and the reason we call it Just Family because, like I said, with even everybody that was on the label was just like family. You know what I'm saying? So that's really the meaning of the label is Just Family Records is everybody we work with came from like outside of just music. We came from being friends and being homies and being family. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, and it just naturally evolved into us putting out those records and doing the shit we did. So yeah, it came from them first tapes and then to even, like I said, even us still doing stuff now.
What was the biggest tour you've been on?
I would say the biggest tour would either be either one of the E40 tours or one of the Tech 9 tours.
Right. How were those like sold out arena type situations or?
Nah, like like Roseland size venues.
Oh, really?
But every night, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And was that like a world tour?
Nah, that was just like the whole country. So like when we did 40, of course multiple 40 tours, but then even like Tech 9, like I watched Tech 9 go from a van and a trailer to, 3,000-4,000 people. So it's like those tours, like for even an artist like myself, those are big tours,
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, Tech 9 started out. Now he's like one of the biggest rappers of all time.
Yeah, exactly.
So I guess I'm trying to think about so you start Just Family Records, and then are you rapping the whole time? Do you ever take breaks and you're like, man, fuck it, I'm not making music no more. Let me go be in the streets, or let me go get a job. Let me go to school. Like, did you ever, or have you just been making music the whole time, and that's what you've basically that's been your job, and that's how you fed yourself?
I mean, I think it actually went the other way of being in the streets and then going more into the music, you know what I'm saying? And then having having a hiccup in the streets that makes you get out the streets.
What was this hiccup?
Man, when you hustling and you get and I don't even want to say you get put in positions by other people that get you caught up or can get you caught up, and you understand like sometimes this shit is out of my control, So in terms of hustling, getting caught up, and fortunately having the ability to beat it and then look back at it and say, man, I could have been really fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. So you were looking at some time or something?
Yeah, I mean, it's not even a complicated situation when, if stuff didn't pan out the way it panned out, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah,
Jeez.
yeah. So it's just like God working in mysterious ways in terms of showing you something, you know what I'm saying? In terms of saying look, this shit is cool, and and back then, hustling was even different. It was fun. It was, everybody's in the streets. We trying to ride Daytons and do all that shit. But at the same time, it's just there's the other side of that, which is getting caught up. You know what I mean? And sometimes again, that shit is out of your control, in terms of what other people do. And so fortunately, under my circumstances, situations, I'm in a situation where just having things in order, like having your license, having insurance, you know, telling the police, no, you can't search my car, and they search it anyway. You feel me? So, and you know what I mean? So like that type of shit. But then also understanding that like in them situations, the shit can go way worse, you know? And as you live in that type of life, it's like, man, that's a time where you got lucky. So are you gonna keep on doing that shit?
Yeah, you're gonna keep just like putting your hand on the burner.
Yeah.
Keep playing. Yeah, I feel you, bro. So were you still rapping at this time? Were you taking rap really serious at this time, or did that situation happen and you're like, fuck it?
No, I was taking rap real serious at that time. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I was taking rap real serious at that time. But then also, you know, you supporting, you know, you supporting the lifestyle and funding the shit and how a lot of the shit starts, bro. You feel me? But then you see like that shit don't mean nothing if you ain't free or you ain't got your freedom or you fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
Damn. So you were able to at least live comfortably making music, bro. That's cool, bro.
Well, that's the thing is like that's what I'm saying. Like the blessing of that shit is coming out of hustling and seeing fast money and doing that shit, but then being in a position where the music shit is going so well that you can release that and say, okay, I'm shifting gears now. You know what I'm saying? Because I understand. Like me and Maniac always talk about is that some cats don't get the memo when they send you the memo and say, look, it's time to stop or it's time to do something else. So if you get the memo, you either gonna take notice to the memo or you're gonna keep on doing some dumb shit.
Right. I like that, the memo.
Yeah.
So when was your first surreal like moment where you're like, oh my God, bro, like they're really fucking with me out here, like outside of like where you're from, you know what I mean? Like were you in like fucking Tennessee and they were just singing every Cool Nutz song word for word, or like what, you know what I mean? Like what was your big surreal moment where you just like definitely were like, man, they're fucking with me, bro. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep rolling with it.
I think there's not one. There's multiples because it all comes in progression. I mean, I think the first one that was like, the first one that I was like, this shit ain't stopping, or not even just not stopping. Like this shit is for real. Like I'm a real artist or feeling like a real artist was when I put out Harsh Game, and I don't know if you remember Tower Records.
Yeah, that used to be at the Eastport Plaza, right?
On Gateway.
Yeah.
Tower Records on Gateway. And I had dropped off a box of the CDs, which is like 100 CDs. And I after like 3 or 4 days putting the CD out, and I just went in the store to go see how it was doing. And I came in the store and they had the top 25 thing with, you know, all the top 25 records. And I came in and I see the first number one record was Madonna, number 2 was Tupac, and then number 3 was my record in the whole store. And that's when I was like, okay, like I mean the city's fucking with it. You know,
yeah.
That's
the city was really fucking with Madonna too.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty funny.
So then at the same time, like that validated like, okay, we selling records at that level now, here even locally. But then like on the next scales was like I said, but even before that, the record deal was another sign. And then
did they give you some bread off that record deal?
Oh yeah.
Like some cool bread?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah, shit. I'm sure getting a little extra money was definitely a better reason to stay out of the streets too.
Yeah, but that was the thing, man. Is like all of it was working in a direction of like validating what we were doing. You know what I mean? So the record deal, but then the record deal didn't work. Then I turned around and put out the record myself, and then it started moving on its own from there. And then from there, that just opened the doors of like, then you start seeing, like I said, then them calls start coming from other places.
And you've been all over the world because of music.
Yeah.
Where's your favorite place that you've been to?
I'm trying to think. I don't think there is just one. Like, it's like, man, going to like, I would say one of my probably my favorite ones was like really honestly the first time I went like to Norway. Cause that was my first time going to Europe, but Bosco was producing for an artist named the LOC. And he's like the biggest rapper in Denmark. And he, when we got there, it was crazy. As soon as we get to the venue, he brought Exhibit too. Exhibit was there, and Mitchie Slick was there. Yeah.
Yeah, we just had Mitchie Slick.
Yeah, so the first like
for sure.
so imagine being in Norway. As soon as you walk in the venue, I see Mitchie like, oh, what's up, bro?
Right, because they were doing Strong Arm Steady, right?
Yeah, and he's like, oh, what you doing here? Like, oh, Bosco produced for him. So like, this is an artist that's doing like 5,000-6,000 people, and then he got Exhibit there. He brought us over, and then he gave us like a 15-minute set in the middle of his set, and he headlined.
Us? Who's us?
Me and Bosco.
Oh, so Bosco actually raps. He doesn't just produce.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
He's made some big songs, hasn't he? So he's got like a couple Grammys or a Grammy or something, right?
Yeah.
So Norway was like that. That was your favorite place to go. What did you like about it? Just because it was just a unique story, or?
I think that, man, like like my thing is I always look at the experience of like when you look at like starting out rapping and you don't have no gauge of where it's gonna go. Like you have no idea of like how far it's gonna go. So then you get up one day and you like, shit, we going to Denmark and it's a 12-hour flight. We're gonna be rapping in Denmark, you know? So the first time you touching down on foreign soil, you getting treated good, paid for your flights, paid for your hotels, paid you some money, and just having a good time. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like sometimes we do so much shit and we don't step back and take it into account the whole experience or what it really is. And like when that whole experience was like, okay, this starting out in a basement on 17th and Fremont, and then we in Denmark rapping. You feel me?
It's surreal.
Yeah.
Where's the place that you hated the most?
El Paso, Texas.
Why?
Because I went to jail in El Paso.
Oh, shit, what happened?
Yeah.
You punched somebody?
Nah, just some bullshit, man. Like leaving the show and the police was out front, and
That's the safest city in America.
Is it?
I don't know. That's what they say.
That's why they put you away quick.
Yeah.
That's why it's safe.
It's right across from one of the most dangerous cities in Mexico, and it's the
they
safest
put
city
you
in
in jail
America.
quick, fast, in a hurry. But it was just really like some harassment shit of, I was on the street and they were messing with somebody else, and the dude seen me and told me to go down the block, and I'm like, how far? You know what I mean? Like, how
Oh, hey,
far?
smart ass, get over here.
Exactly. And that's exactly how I ended up in jail.
How long were you in jail for?
Overnight.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah. But when you on tour though.
Oh, yeah, that puts a damper in the situation.
Yes. But finally, I mean, fortunately, I got out like 7, but that was, you know, it's just one of them things where it's just dumb shit, bro. So it's like, it was just some dumb shit.
Is that the only time you ever went to jail on tour?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was, I told myself after that, like, I'm not fucking around with the police or nothing on out of town or any of that, like, at all.
Right, yeah. You see the police just walk the opposite way.
Yeah.
What, how do you feel like Portland back then versus now? Like, how much do you think it's changed, and like, what do you think the differences are?
I mean, I feel like it's a lot of good stuff that's happening in Portland now in terms of like business and industry and opportunity. I just feel like the sense of the difference is like the pride of the city for like even just music and different stuff like that. I think it was just different back then. Like, you know, you could do local shows and have 600-700 people, you know. Like when we did Po Hop, like, I mean, even more than that, we did the first 2 years of Po Hop 2, we're like 1,000 people at La Luna for local music, all local music. And I feel like that pride doesn't exist. And I think part of it though is because of the community, you know, like, because the lack of community. Like back then you could just, all of North and Northeast, if they weren't at certain stuff, or you weren't at certain shit, you felt like you weren't a part of shit. Like Monday come around, you be like, man, was you at Po Hop? Like, man, no, you know, like, oh, I miss Pohop. Like it was that sense of like you really miss something that you
Right.
that, you know. And I think that's what's lacking now is people feeling like I gotta go support this. Like, oh, he from the town, I gotta go. We gotta be there. Like, but the whole city gotta be there.
How do you feel like you could change that and bring it back to how it used to be, to where everybody fucks with everybody, you know?
I don't even know if that is possible.
No?
It's just shit is so spread out now, man, and it's just so many other elements and different things that it's hard to like get everybody together nowadays with the same mindset. You know what I'm saying? You got to have everybody on the same page, and I think there was a certain level of like pride and respect and just really just pride and respect of like, nah, this is for the town. We got to make sure that that we maintain this, or no, don't let them fuck this up. Like I feel like nowadays it's too much separation, it's too fragmented, you know what I'm saying? And there is no community, so there is no sense of pride of like, this is ours. You know, like you can't call nothing ours when you got people staying in apartments out in the numbers, and then people out deep North Portland, and you know, some people in Clackamas. There is no Northeast Portland, or like where everybody's together in that part, and like, oh no, I seen the poster, like, well, we got to go support that, or everybody's going to Music Galore and buying their music, or House of Sounds, or One Stop. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or on the weekends, people are actually out on the K or at the car wash or doing just different stuff like that, to where the community's right there.
Do you think it's because of social media that it's not like that no more? Or do you think that it's like because of the violence and the craziness that's been going on?
I think it's all of it. I think it's the gentrification. It's gentrification. It's economic. It's, like you said, the violence. Some of it, you know, social media, because now people don't have to. They don't have to support something that, like, you got to think, like, a lot of music we used to buy just because we saw it. Like, if you went to the record store and they had a dope album cover, oh, I'm gonna buy this. Or if you went to the record store and there was somebody from Portland and you saw they had 15th and Killingsworth on the cover, you might just buy it just because I want to see what they're talking about. Nowadays, you can get on your phone and go through iTunes and find whatever you want to listen to. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't have to, like, even with TV, you had to wait to watch a music video. Now you can go on YouTube and watch every music video. Like, you got to think, like, if you look at, like, Snoop Dogg and them, like, they might have been putting out maybe 1 or 2 music videos in a whole year. Think about, like, if you go look at NBA Youngboy, how many videos and albums. He put out, what, 4 albums or how many ever it is just this year alone with hella videos and, you know.
Right, Gucci Mane made like a mixtape every day for a month, didn't he? He did something like that. I mean, that's quite a bit of.
But think about,
yeah.
think about that level of productivity, and then how you can put that out to the people. So it's like people don't have to wait for nothing.
No, yeah, the
what I'm saying?
exclusiveness isn't there. Yeah,
No,
you're not
at all.
I feel you, because I remember like Nipsey Hussle, bro. It seemed like it took forever for him to put out a new project, and you'd be waiting forever, and then I still play his shit. You know what I mean? It would take forever. So what? So basically, you think that maybe just like the internet age is kind of what put a pause and a damper in like the music and the community, because it seems like everybody here is like, they act like everybody. Social media created people to be like celebrities. Because we just did a show not that long ago, and it just seemed like everybody that opened up was more of a celebrity than the actual fucking guy that was performing, headlining this shit.
Yep.
I couldn't believe my eyes, dude. I was so embarrassed. I was like, who the fuck? Never mind, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, bro. There was just some shit going on where I was like, what the fuck, bro? These motherfuckers is acting more bougie than the fucking motherfucker here, bro.
Man, them 200 likes will have you thoroughly confused, thinking that you the headliner. When you're not.
Bro. But we got a lot of confusion going on here, to where it's just like, bro, this is like, it's like a lot of it's just like embarrassing. You know what I mean?
But that's
I feel like Trap Kitchen and you guys is like the only thing that is just like where I'm like, okay, thank God. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, there's some real shit still going on here. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I like the way that they're fucking branding shit. You know what I mean? But we got all this fucking shit that I'm not gonna say on camera, bro. But we got a lot of weird shit going on where it's just like, bro, this is like fucking borderline embarrassing, and it's like we don't really have too many new rappers, so it's like the same rappers that have been around for the last like fucking 15 years, and it's like, damn, you guys are still fucking making music. That's crazy to me.
I just think, man, that's the thing, and I think that everybody. It's about. I mean, I think like even within our city, I think Portland is a place where there's not many examples of next level success. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like so a lot of these artists don't know how to, like you can confuse what is minor success with major success because you're and I don't even want to say a big fish, you could be a medium fish in a small pond, and you can go to the club and people are, pop your bottle and all that. But then until you go out of town or you go around somebody that's really doing it, you know what I mean? Like you go around somebody that's really doing it, or you don't have perspective on what success is or what real success is. Like if you never, I remember I took one of my partners to E40's house. And he and this 40 don't really let too many people come to his house.
Who was this guy that you took to E40's house? You don't have to say his name, but like, is he not in the music at all? Just
no,
like,
he's in the music. He's in the music, but I took him to 40's house.
and he didn't take off his shoes.
No. It was a lesson in scale and levels. So when you pull up to 40, he lives in a gated neighborhood, not a gated house. His house has a gate, but the neighborhood is gated.
Gated community,
So
yeah.
you got to pull up and you got to have your name on the list to get into the community. You know what I mean? Then you go up to his house, and Merton Hanks stayed across the street. Gary Payton stayed across the street, And so we go in, and when you see a rapper that you listen to and you go to his house and you see how he's living, like he's really living like
A rapper.
like a real, like not like a millionaire. You know what I mean? You can be a rapper, but we know a lot of rappers that live in apartments.
Right, yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I know
yeah, we
I
do.
know rappers that's on Section 8 and they baby mama. You feel me? So, yeah.
Tell us who.
I'm just saying.
Who is it?
We will keep the names quiet to protect the innocent.
Yeah.
But
Fucking guilty. That is, boy. You living off Section 8? Man, fuck.
But it was one of them things. It was one of them things where I had been around. I had the luxury of being around artists.
They're showing up the fucking shoe drives and shit. You're just
Right.
like, man, what the fuck? You just bought some weed. The fuck you got this? No, don't get this motherfucker. No shoes, no nothing, man. Fuck him.
No turkey, no
Fuck
free Christmas
him.
tree. But
So E40's house.
but
For
yeah.
one, make a round of applause for going to E40's house. You know what I mean? That's, and bringing a fucking random with you too, and not getting fucking kicked out of the gated community.
Yeah. But when you get around certain people and you see like, no, this person is really living that shit that you see on TV.
Especially
And so-
E40, bro. He's got to be super rich.
Oh yeah, but my friend that I took with me, he sat there and was cool the whole time. You know what I mean? He wasn't tripping. But when we left, we got in the car and it was quiet, and he just said, "I'm not shit." And I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "Because this is where we got to get to." You
I say
feel
it
me?
all the time, bro.
But it was an example of somebody understanding like this is what you aiming for.
Hell yeah.
Not, you know what I'm saying? Not talking about it, not because a lot of people talk about the shit I'm doing this, I'm doing that. But when you really see somebody really doing it, like that can really go blow that real money, you know what I'm saying? That they can really go blow real money, and it's not something fake or.
Well, E40 is like the longest lasting fucking rapper ever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's like, God damn, dude, he's still dropping shit with new people. He has music with fucking everybody from back in the day to now. It's just like, God, his body of music is just phenomenally, just astronomically fucking huge, bro.
Yeah.
That's dope. He let you over there. You probably been to Thanksgiving dinners at E40's house.
No, that's family. You feel me? Like that's family. So it's like 40 is family, and
Cool. Well, shit. I'm glad to see him on here next.
yeah. And that's what I'm saying. Of like the blessing. No, we'll talk to him about it. That's the
Yeah, I'm
blessing.
gonna hold you to it.
Yeah, that's the blessing of what I'm saying of all of these journeys and different things that put you in position to even experience that type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like even the relationship with 40 is crazy because I was a fan of 40 and I would go to LA before people in LA was up on 40. And we were listening to 40 up here. So I would go to LA and tell Bosco, oh man, you gotta check out E40. And they would be down there like, who, E40? And I'd play the shit for them. They're like, oh, okay, this is dope. And then when he got the record deal and he put out In a Major Way, the label ends up calling Bosco and having them do the remix to Sprinkle Me. And when he did the remix to Sprinkle Me, we was able to build a relationship with 40. And then when we brought 40 here for a show, he saw how we did shit. And then I was able to start building with him. And then he started seeing like, okay, Cool Nutz is dope at putting together these shows for me. So then, we be in Montana, all type of places. But that relationship is something that through the music, like I'm not expecting it, to have these type of connections with people that I'm like literally a fan of, you know what I'm saying? Like we riding around listening to music every day, and then next thing you know, like I said, I'm taking my friend to his house and my friend is getting an understanding of like, this is the levels we striving for, you know what I'm saying?
So are you still focused on the music or you focused on like the management and like the maybe like the A&R type stuff? Like what is your main focus in the music now,
I mean, for me, I do music even now because I love it, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not doing music because I'm chasing going platinum or even whoever the hot young dude is, because this music is literally a young man's game. Like the youth dictate what's hot. The youth buy tickets and go to the shows and do all that. Like I do music because I love the music and I'm still good at making music. But in terms of like, I'm not finna be like I'm not a young dude, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not finna be chasing, trying to like I don't dress like them. I don't hang out like them. I got real priorities, you know what I'm saying? To where I can't live rap every day, So the music is a priority in the sense of I love making music, so I'm gonna keep recording music. I'm gonna keep putting out music because I make good music still. But the ambitions and aspirations of how I was pursuing it when I was younger, I'm not doing it for them reasons. But it's definitely a shift, and then the management stuff and tour managing and producing shows and just all the different other elements that came from the music. Like the music afforded me the luxury to even do that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
How did you, because you have kids, right?
Yeah.
How many kids you got?
3.
Okay. How did you manage to balance being a dad and having a family and then being all over the world at the same time?
Because I always would, I will always make time. You know what I'm saying? Like if I go out of town and I'm on tour, when I come back, I'm gonna do something with my family. Like whether it's taking my kids to Disneyland, taking my kids to SeaWorld, whatever it is, I'm gonna do things with my family, with my kids. Like if you go look at my social media, you're gonna see me at Disneyland with my kids. You're gonna see me at SeaWorld with my kids. You're gonna see me at Legoland with my kids, or you're gonna see me doing stuff with my wife, because certain things, like I don't wanna be the kind of person that I gotta look back and feel guilty of stuff that I didn't do with my family or with my kids, or my kids don't understand. Like you can feed your family and give them money and clothes and all that, but that doesn't mean nothing if they don't know you. They don't have love. You don't have genuine love and a relationship with your kids. You know what I'm saying? Or even with your wife, with your significant other. You got to be able to know that, like, when it's all said and done, there's no that you can look yourself in the mirror. Like when you 70, 80 years old and you might be on your way to check out and you got all this guilt on your conscience because, I could have been a better dad, or, I should have did this for Christmas, and when my daughter needed this, I should have been there. Like, I don't want that on my conscience, So even with me being out of town all them times, like, I constantly stay in contact and talk to my kids. I constantly, when I get back, I spend time with them, like one-on-one time, to make it a point so that they know, like, man, my dad is going to make time. Like, my dad is going to spend time, not time doing what I want to do, but time doing what they want to do. My daughter, like, she wanted to go see University of South Carolina play because she was super into basketball. So me and her went to Atlanta, hung out in Atlanta. Then I took her to South Carolina to watch them play, went back to Atlanta to kick it. But that's just me and her. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My son, for his birthday, me and him went to Universal Studios, San Diego Zoo, Disneyland, you know what I'm saying, for his birthday, because they deserve that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's a lot of sacrifice that goes into like if I'm gone, just the work that my wife got to put in when I'm gone, in terms of taking care of the kids, holding down the house. She still got her life that she got to manage on top of the kids. So I just make sure that I make time, and sometimes, you can come back into town and soon as you get back to town, now you on rap shit in town. Sometimes I got to sacrifice that. Like, I'm not going to this show. I'm not doing this or that because I'm going to do stuff with my kids. I'm going to take my son to go see Black Adam. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I'm going to drive my daughter to college and hang out with her. And then I might go down a whole nother weekend and just take her out to eat and do whatever. Mm-hmm. So she knows and they know, that I care. You know what I'm saying?
If you could go back in time and give yourself some advice, what would you say to yourself?
Sometimes don't be so humble. Because I feel like at times, like, sometimes you got to be a little bit more aggressive, even if that's not who you, especially in this business. And sometimes people take, when you nice or you kind or you're not always coming in the room talking about yourself or pushing your shit on them. They sometimes take that for either like a weakness or how they perceive, like, sometimes people look, it can diminish their perception and they think we're all on the same level. You know what I mean? Like, that's one of the things, like, when you come around certain rappers and they might be a dickhead or an asshole, but sometimes they got to put that on to make people understand, like, I'm somebody, or
I'm above you.
Yeah, and it's you don't want to put it that way, but sometimes there, like, again, we always say there's levels to shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I would just tell myself, like, that, like,
I would tell myself that same thing.
What? Don't be so humble.
Hell yeah. Yeah, but you definitely be a lot more aggressive. I feel like if I was more aggressive with a lot of situations, like, a lot of shit wouldn't have happened the way it happened. Yeah. But at the same time is that you just gotta deal with so many different personalities and so many different people that you just kind of gotta, like, tread lightly. You know what I mean? Because you don't know who's gonna turn on you or anything like that when you act a certain way. You know what I mean? Somebody can fuck some shit up and it's like, you just smash them out or something like that. Well, I'm sure that most people aren't just going to be happy with that. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just have to take the good with the bad and just figure it out. You know what I mean?
And I think, and that's.
But sometimes I think that would have worked out better than how it ended up working out. So it's like, if anybody's listening, definitely be more aggressive, but. Yeah, I don't know, but just be humble. Be a humble, aggressive person.
Exactly, and that's
and don't overly do shit for people.
Exactly, and that's the hard part, because it's hard to balance all that out, especially in in a business that's built like the music business or entertainment business. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I feel you, bro. So what's next with you? You said that you're gonna drop the Maniac Loc album, doing Trap Private Reserve and Trap Kitchen, and then just what's after that, you know?
I mean, I feel like that's what it really is. Like that's what's next is continuing to push all of those brands, continuing to push Just Family, continuing to push Trap Kitchen, continue to push Trap Private Reserve, me and Maniac, even ventures, you know, like the radio show, the Northwest Breakout Show. Like all of these things are things that are stuff that's constantly moving, you know. So it's always constantly growing, and there's constantly more opportunities there. You just gotta continue to push them and continue to let them grow. So I feel like it's just putting more energy into those things, and always, I'm sure you know, man, like always being able to reshape things and shift stuff over here, and knowing how when to turn on the gas, or when to make a couple changes with something, or when to put more energy into this, or you know, or even cut some stuff off.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to learn that now.
yeah.
How did the death of Dre Steves affect you? Because he was pretty much the next most poppin'est thing, probably the one that was actually going to do really something.
I feel like, man,
He's
with
like the
that,
little golden child.
I think that's the best way to put it. Is that the whole golden child thing, because there's a couple things about Dre that, first and foremost, people get what, there's all the stuff we get from the streets and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, and all the shit that comes with that. But the difference is, I think with him, is that if you know him and you know his heart and you know who he is and you know what he comes from, and I had the privilege of being able to watch him from the time he was born to the first Maniac video when he was a little kid, to the first time that Maniac came and said Drake is serious about rapping. And the first time he came and rapped, he like when I say you had those moments where you see that like people are, you know, he got it. Like that we did, I think it was either the Hawthorne Theater or the Roseland, and we had him come out for a couple songs, and then and I saw that he had it, you know what I'm saying? And Maniac, like I said, that's my bro. Dre always, one of the most impressive things with Dre is that what he did wasn't because of us. Like you know, people, oh man, I didn't put him on. You know what I mean? His work put him on. His work ethic, who he was, put him on. And then I worked along with that. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of one of them things where it's just like it hurts more because you know who he is. I know his family. And then the fucked up thing is, like, man, we've been watching this shit over and over. You feel me? Like, my brother got killed in '93, and then I watch all these young black men, same thing, and then it turns into it's my homies who are dying, and then as we get to things like Dre, it's my homies' kids. You feel me? So it's one of them things where like niggas keep weathering these storms of shit that's like, it's gut-wrenching, because I gotta watch my homeboy who I know, like, him and his son is like me and him, but that's his son, that's his father and son. You feel me? Like, so it's like knowing that like my bro is losing his son.
Yeah, bro.
My nephew, super talented, changing. You know, I told him, I said, you conquered one of the hardest things, and that's getting people to listen and fuck with your music, like really listen, not like, oh, I listened to it, but like know, like where he could come out of the show and people know the words. When he come in the room, oh, that's Dre. And I know I think you interacted with Dre.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've been I liked him a lot.
Yeah. So it's like, so if you meet Dre,
No, yeah, he was super cool to me.
Yeah.
You always hear stories about people like, oh, this and that, but I mean, everybody I've met has always been super cool to me. I never really met somebody that was like a dickhead to me.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Not definitely like maybe when I was a kid, like I had like a couple dickhead older homies that would do some dumb shit, but like I surpassed them when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? But
The difference is with him is that he was raised right. You know what I'm saying? And so if he came around you, he was raised right. Like
yeah, he had the respect.
He had the respect.
Polite.
You know, but he was his own man. And so with him, it's just different. It's not, I mean, it's different because I've been watching over the last 3-4 years, like a lot of my young guys lose their lives.
What do you think we could do to stop that? How do you think that we can come together and bring that camaraderie back to the community to prevent all these people? Because, bro, I lost my nephew too. The same situation as Dre Steves. You know what I mean? I had to watch. I still watch my buddy go through that shit. You know what I mean? My best friend, I've been there since his son was like 4 years old. You know what I mean? Like, I've been around him, bro. So it's just like, yeah, to watch him go through that shit. You know what I mean? And then like, yeah, bro. Like even now, bro. Like, you know what I mean? Like I was like, I seen a TikTok one time, right? And it was like these fucking people in like Oklahoma and shit, like these like white Crips or something like that, and they were singing that song Gangsta Lean. And then like, so I'm like putting it on and I'm like trying to explain this TikTok video and shit like that. And I'm like, you ever heard that song Gangsta Lean?
Yeah.
Bro, but like I look over, dude, and I'm like not thinking about it, but I see him crying and shit. And I'm just like, dude, do all gang members cry to this song? And he was like, no, motherfucker, I'm thinking about my son. And I'm like, oh yeah, shit. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I'm a dickhead. You know what I mean? Because like at first I was just like, man, shit, is this like you guys all do this? And he was just like, no, motherfucker, you dumb bitch. I'm fucking thinking about my son right now.
Yeah.
You fuck. You
And,
know what I
and, you
mean?
know-
I'm just like, oh shit. Like, man, I thought this would be funny, but yeah, bro, like losing a child, bro, is like the worst thing that somebody can go through. And my heart goes out to Maniac Luck, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, my first kid was a stillborn, but that's nothing of like growing up and like being like, bro, like, yeah, they were tight, bro. You know what I mean? And like, bro, that sucks, bro. And I mean, even for you too, bro, like that's like basically like a son to you almost. You know what I mean?
And the thing is like I said, you don't get too many, and people, and it's not just because it's my guy, you know what I'm saying? But you don't get too many people like him in terms of like I said, like being who he was, being pleasant to be around, being talented as he is, and to get back to your question about I guess trying to address figuring some of that shit out. I think
the way to figure it out is you have to become mayor. That's the only solution because they're fucking failing bad. Yeah, I think that's a solution.
that could be one of the solutions, but I think providing like there has to be a change and a shift in how we look at each other's lives. And when I say look at each other's lives, meaning the value of it.
So precious.
You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of the violence and stuff it starts out as being senseless, but then it also, you got to look at the reality of it is the more people lose people, the more personal it becomes. So then it becomes like a war.
Somebody else's somebody else's mom or dad is gonna grieve just like JC's dad and mom grieve.
Well, then you get to a point where now you got as these kids get older. So as you got these kids getting older, you don't only have people like my age, you have these kids getting older who some of them now are like, my dad got killed, my uncle got killed. So now they're becoming young men and they're coming into a certain lifestyle. But then now the problem with that is too, is like I was saying, watching your friends' kids die, multiple now. So now you got people that's our age where their kids is dropping off. And now you gotta watch parents, young parents too, grieving and losing their kids in damn near like what's becoming now record numbers. You know what I'm saying? Where you got multiple people around you where you could say like, oh shit, she lost her son, he lost his daughter, they lost their son. You know what I mean? And I feel like it has to be more of a priority put on the value of life, like where people where we got to preach that, like not only the value of life, but the pain that people are causing other people, to where that pain trickles down to somebody's mom, that pain trickles down to the auntie, to that man's sister, to a whole family and community, to where you say like, yo, it's not just about you and your side, it's about this other side. Everybody now is having this pain. And that shit is traumatic, bro. You feel me? Like, that shit is traumatic. Like, we're not supposed to, like, any of us can sit and name, if you could sit and name 10, 15 young people that you know that have died, that have been murdered, you're not supposed to be able to do that.
Hell no.
Like, we're not supposed to be able to do that. You're not supposed to know, like, 10, 15 people that got murdered. Young people, where you could say, oh, they was at the club and got shot outside the club. Oh yeah, remember such and such, he was over here, he got shot too. Oh, that person, oh yeah, he got shot too.
You think it's worse now than it's ever been?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. Cause there's no boundaries, there's no respect. Like,
kids are getting killed these days.
Yeah, there's no, like, if you go and you if you could feel comfortable and you go knock off a 16-year-old or 17-year-old, there ain't no respect. Like, that's somebody that ain't even live their life, bro. They ain't even live their life. They ain't even got a chance at life. And then nowadays, cats is gonna make rap songs about dead people. And like, imagine your mama having to get up and listen to a nigga rapping about her kid.
That's like,
you
dude,
feel
that's
me?
like, bro, like, my whole point of this whole Progressive Hustle podcast is literally to try to prevent kids from being in the streets. Because joining the gang, I've never once met a gang member in my life that was like, if I can go back, I would do it again.
Nah.
Fuck no, bro. That's just like, bro, it's like, it's 2022, bro. If you're in a gang, bro, something's going wrong here. And it's going wrong fast. Like, bro, and not even just that, but don't sell drugs. You don't need to rob rappers. You don't need to rob anybody, bro. What you need to do is you need to work together on building each other up, bro. But, like, all these rappers are always, bro, and it's, like, real big in the drill music. Like, and it's, like, bro, if you look back in time, bro, it's, like, when NWA came out, it was, like, cool to be a gangster, all that type of shit. And then that's really when the gang violence really took off and, like, all that type of shit. And then, like, in the 2000s and stuff, like, with Messy Marv was, like, really popping and shit. It was, like, really cool to sell drugs and, like, but, like, not be a drug addict really at the time. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But, like... Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
don't get high on your own supply.
Don't get high on your own supply. Like, it was like, and then it's like, damn, like, you had Big Meeches, you had all these fucking people, bro. And then it's like they started talking about, then like the drill music came out, then the mumble rap came out. Now everybody's on fucking drugs. And everybody's just fucking killing each other, bro. And nobody's getting no money. The shit is all saturated and watered down, bro. And just people are dying at record numbers, dude. Well, and they're ruining the communities, bro. These rappers,
but you know the bigger part of it is some of these rappers are more wealthier than ever, though. And the thing is like, that's where everything is messed up.
They want to get paid. They don't give a fuck what's going on down there.
Well, no, the problem is like, you have artists that'll work and achieve wealth that that you dream of, and be in a situation that you work to get out the ghetto. You work to have this millions of dollars to provide for your family. But then the problem is, a motherfucker will shoot you dead just like anybody else. I mean, if you look at like Nipsey Hussle, man, Nipsey Hussle, when he died, bro, he died like a regular person. You see what I'm saying? On video. Like, it wasn't no, like, because he's a rapper, you gotta treat him any different. Like, that has went out the window in terms of how people look at stuff. Like you could be $1 million rapper with all your chains and your car and everything else, and somebody will come shoot you dead right now. That's
why being a fucking, supposed to be rolling with security and shit, you know what I mean? Especially, bro, that's like what Mitchie Slink was telling me, bro. It's just like, how can you feel bad when these people are putting it in your face so much? You know what I mean? How can you feel bad when they get killed, when they're just like living this big celebrity lifestyle and putting it in your face? And then, you know what I mean? Like, say you meet this motherfucker, bro, and they like, and your girl's bumping their shit, but you're like you had issues before you were popping, you know what I mean? It's like, man, that fucking dude he fucked my girlfriend when I was 16, man. Fuck this dude. You know what I mean? Like, and now your new girl's singing all his fucking songs. You're like, man, fuck him. I see him, I'm gonna kill his ass. You know what I mean? Like, bro, it's like they really like are putting that shit.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. There is no value put like on like you gotta, bro, if you go really think about how many popular rappers are dead, been shot dead.
But they put it out there too much, bro.
But even
it's like rubbing everybody in everybody's face. I feel like that's the part about like being like not humble enough.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Like, it's like, bro, you're like, bro, come on, bro, you're driving Maybachs to the hood and shit. It's like, of course there's gonna be somebody that's like, man, fuck this guy.
Yeah, but I think even with the people that do stuff, like I feel like Nipsey actually did stuff for his community.
No. I'm not even just saying Nip, but dude, there's a lot of other people, bro.
But I'm saying, what I'm saying is, even some of these rappers that might even ride around in a Maybach or jury and everything, like some of them are doing extraordinary things for their community. But what I'm saying is, even those ones, they're not off limits. Like there's no. What I'm saying is,
do it from a distance.
Yeah,
help your community out from a distance.
So what I'm saying is, say you in your hood and you pull up to the 7-Eleven and you that rapper that's giving away the turkeys and doing everything, and the community loves you and you doing everything you can. Nowadays, there are people that will come up and rob you and shoot you dead and not say, oh, he just gave away 2,000 turkeys and 1,600 Christmas trees
and that goes into the play
1,200 gift cards.
Yeah, that goes into the play about the people that are around you, bro. Nipsey Hussle died with like homies around him, bro. Like those are like the lamest homies ever, bro. Like, bro, this dude's making sure everything's working out for all of us. Like, bro, shit, shoot me, motherfucker. I don't give a fuck, bro, because I know that if I take a bullet for you, I'm going to be put on a pedestal. You understand what I'm saying? Like, bro, you can't let the face of everything die, because now it's just like nothing's cracking off no more, bro. Like all these celebrities, bro, even with like Pop Smoke and shit. You know what I mean? It's like, bro, somebody needs to take a bullet sometimes, bro. Like the Secret Service takes a bullet for the president because we need the president. Man, take a bullet for these motherfuckers, bro.
Take a bullet for Pop Smoke.
Hell yeah, because he was, he's about to blow up, bro. It's like, yeah, come on, bro. It's like you're gonna let basically the leader of us die, and then you see like one of his best friends like running away, and it's like, man, you couldn't have just like snuck him from the back or something like that, bro. Like it's all crazy, bro, and how shit works.
I think it's tough, man, because the world is in a weird place. Like if you watch, man, like you go watch some of these videos in LA or the Bay and multiple Texas where cats is like, my thing is this. If you want to go shopping at the mall, you should be able to go shopping at the mall and come out with your Louis Vuitton bag and not have nobody just try to rob you. But nowadays the world is in that place where it's like I don't know what, like the old cowboy bandit world where like you gotta
wild west.
Yeah, right, like where you gotta be conscious of your surroundings and everything. Like there is, I'm just saying the level of the lack of respect is so crazy that nobody these days is really safe. You're not safe. You gotta be careful, bro. You gotta. And I think that's what's having a big impact on all this violence and everything, even in the youth. There's no the level of respect of value of life.
It's the social media, bro. It's the social media. These motherfuckers get on live and be like, I'm gonna be here at this time, and they go there at that time, and they have shootouts like a fucking airsoft war. You know what I mean? It's crazy, bro. And then that's how they're finding all these people, because they're always on social media, bro. Mm. Like, bro, you know how hard it is to find a wife? Like, bro, people don't get married no more because everybody's wrapped up in social media, and everybody wants to fuck this bitch or your wife is secretly talking to this dude, and it's fucking it's disturbing on where the world is nowadays. And I hope that we could bounce back from it, dude. But more than likely, we're probably at the end of times.
Yeah.
But hopefully not. Hopefully it gets better, and hopefully our kids can fulfill. And I think that's where we go next, is that we just try to make sure that our kids do the right thing and guide them in the right directions. You know what I mean? And I think that as people in entertainment, that they need to really start promoting positivity and not negativity. You know what I mean? Because it's pointless for especially like Black and Latino people to kill each other. It's completely pointless because if you go to prison and you're Black, you're riding with Blacks. If you go to prison and you're Mexican, you're riding with Mexicans. If you go to prison and you're with white, you're white, you're riding with whites. You understand what I'm saying? So there's no point in really killing each other off when realistically it's a rich versus poor thing. The rich want to keep us poor. They don't want us to be rich. So it's really not even, I don't look at anything as like a race thing. I look at us as like that's the race, is the rich versus poor.
Economics.
And that's why we all need to stick together because the more we kill, the more that they get their agenda met. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They want people locked up. They want gang violence. That's what they promote. And all these rappers are just the little fucking errand boys behind it, bro. Not even the rappers, but the music. I mean, like movies, all that type of shit, bro. It's crazy the shit that's going on in the world today. And I hope that we could put an end to it and put a stop. And I think that we could start here doing positive things that our mayors and our governors are not doing. And I think that as a community that we need to work together to make the change without the support of anybody else. Like it doesn't hurt nobody to go fucking next Sunday to just go start passing out dollar bills. Yeah. Look here, bro, I'm going to give everybody here $5 to clean up this block. Everybody here $5 to clean up this block. I'll come back next week. If the block is still clean, I'll give everybody $5 more, or I'll give one of you guys $50 a week to keep this block clean. And then we're going to move on to this block, but you guys can't live here no more. You got to come back and keep the block clean. And then now, boom, you guys got to move out of the way. And then you just go block by block and we clean up the homeless population. They want the homeless down here. Yeah. They want this shit, bro. And that's fucked up as a community, bro. We don't need that shit, bro. We need to, you know what I mean? We could do it ourselves, bro. We don't need the city council and all these people to make the rules and this is all what our taxes are going to. Like, these people don't know what it's like to be down here. They don't know what it's like to be in a gang. They don't know what it's like to sell drugs. They don't know what it's like to be hopeless and sit on a park bench and ride a bus and hustle all fucking day. They don't know what it's like to be, like a homeless dope fiend. And, bro, these motherfuckers are more confused than anybody. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So I feel like as a community, that's what we need to do. We need to bring the camaraderie back, and we need to stick together, bro, because it's really us versus them, bro.
Yeah, no, that's
we need to overthrow. Yeah. But I appreciate you, bro.
No, definitely.
Yeah, and Mikey Vegas might be the Rip City GOAT, but you're the Rip City God, my friend. You're the next level above him. Yeah, you're the best, bro. So I really appreciate you, bro. Sure. Everything that you've done for all of us, bro. Yeah. My first concert I ever went to was Andre Nicotina, bro. Back in like 2006, bro.
Shout out to Andre Nicotina,
and then that's the first time I ever seen you, bro. Cool Nutz with the big old Stop Snitching T-shirt.
Yeah, Nicotina. I gotta give a big shout out to him, man, because he definitely showed me a lot of love. You feel me? Like Nicotina is another Bay Area legend, and he don't get the props he deserves. But like in terms of like, he was somebody I did a lot of shows with. Like, Nicotina, like not only would put me on shows, but always make sure I was paid right, make sure I was taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard.
Andre, hey. No, I'm gonna tell, bro. I'll tell you a funny story. We was in Eugene, and this girl kept trying to tell him that they had sent him some shirts or something, and he was like, "I didn't get them."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Yes, we sent them to you." And he was like, "I didn't get them." And Chill came and got me and was like, "Man, you got to come see this." And she just kept on talking to him, and he just finally was like, he told her he either told her like, he's like, "Stop talking to me about this shit." And then she was like, "I'm gonna go tell my boyfriend." She said, "Go get that motherfucker and bring him over here so I can kick his ass."
Yeah, Andre Nicotina and Equipto made some of the best rap music in history.
Rap,
bro.
Cat.
Bro, yeah, just like fucking Jungle, Heels, bro. Like those two, that collab, bro, is like my favorite collab of ever.
Yeah.
Like in anything, and like, bro, I still love listening to that shit. Like Andre Nicotina and Equipto, you'd be like, man, what the fuck? Like,
it was a whole different sound.
Yeah, that shit was crazy,
a whole different sound.
But that's just that's like the best collab of like rap history in my eyes, bro. But what's so where can they find you, bro?
Man, everything is at Cool Nutz. Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, which I'm really not on that much. I'm trying to.
Shit.
I gotta make some videos. King Cool Nutz. But everything is at Cool Nutz, man. And that's where they can find me.
Good shit, bro. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Appreciate
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Have a good one.